Everybody loves a good show, and the after party is where we tap in and celebrate that show. Imagine that life is the show.
Join us, Tam and Portia, at the after party where we'll celebrate life. The good, the bad,
and the ugly. This is where things get real, because that's life, and we're going to keep it real.
If you want to laugh and cry and be real, this is the show for you.
Come party with us.
Hey, Tim.
Hey, Portia. Hey, party goers.
Hi.
Thank you guys for joining us for another episode of the After Party Podcast. Today we're going to be tackling the third stage of healing, which is acceptance. The third step is accepting that healing is possible and committing to the journey. This involves letting go of any doubts or fears about the healing process and trusting that it is possible to move forward. Tap into the profound impact that acceptance can have on our mental, emotional, and physical well-being. So grab your drinks and tap in with us.
Yes, tap in.
Tap in.
Y'all know we gonna have our cocktails, okay?
Got to have it.
And today's cocktail of the episode is a bourbon and honey gold rush, baby.
Cheers. Clink, 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 clink.
That is really good.
Baby, that is amazing. Okay.
I love it here.
Listen, if I saw leaning to the side, y'all know it's the bourbon, because I don't drink no dark liquor, but she made me do it. She made me do it. Right now, it is that special segment, which is our karaoke break. A better you, a better me. We are sharing this world. We got more than it could be. And you should never give up on your hopes and your dreams. You gotta get up, get out, get into it, get it on to be strong. And we try, we can find to a whole nother place. All we need is believe and a smile on your face. You can go anywhere you want, any road. Hey, tomorrow. And tomorrow, listen, tomorrow will come a better you, a better me.
Period.
But first, you gotta accept what's going on with your child.
Yes, that part. Okay.
Who's over there at that vendor table today?
Yes, let's be over there. It looks like we have a wonderful vendor by the name of Studio 1020. Let's see what's going on over there.
Check it out.
I'ma put some blame on me, trying to take accountability, but you take all my ability. You're the death in me and the remedy. I'll be doing.
Listen, check out Studio 1020. Get over there for your lashes, your eyebrows, all your facial needs. Listen, she can get you right.
All the things.
I know. From experience. Look at these beautiful lashes just fluttering about.
Period. Shout out to Studio 1020. Thank you so much for collaborating with us on the After Party Podcast.
Thank you. Listen. Let's get right on into this and let's party, okay?
Yes.
In a world that often emphasizes change and improvement, the concept of acceptance might seem counterintuitive. However, accepting our current state, embracing our vulnerabilities, and acknowledging our struggles can be the first step towards true healing. Listen, okay? You gonna have to embrace them vulnerabilities. We like to stuff that thing, them them vulnerabilities down deep, right? But
Yes.
you have to start accepting those things
Yes.
that you can take the first steps towards truly, truly healing, right?
Yeah.
You can't heal what you don't accept.
That part.
First,
That.
you acknowledged it. Now you have to accept it. And you have to accept that healing is truly possible, right? So you got to start somewhere. And here, them vulnerabilities, embrace it.
Listen, that part stuck out to me, Tam, embracing the vulnerabilities,
Mm-hmm.
because I believe that that could be very difficult for most people, especially if you have done it before and somebody has trampled all over it.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes it even more harder for you to open up that again to someone in fear of them trampling all over or
Yes.
mishandling you or abusing what you have shared with them, right?
Ooh.
Which is a whole nother thing. You know, we talk about that in this dating world. Like, we can't give too much because if I lay it out for you, you are not going to do anything but duplicate it and be that thing that I'll need you to be in that moment to get me. But
Mm-hmm.
once you get me, you're going to show your real true ass. And
Not
that's
the true ass.
that's not what we're trying to do.
We don't
Uh,
do that. That's a shame that you have to work on all of these tactics and
that part,
maneuvers to
yeah.
get what you really want
Mhm.
because you're so afraid. We got that relationship PTSD, and
Yes.
you're so afraid of being truly vulnerable because someone might play on that. And that we're not just talking about romantic relationships,
Any
friendships too.
friendships, familial relationships. We have family members that do that all the time. You share something with them and they share with everybody else or shame you for it or whatever.
Hmm.
It's not
Can't wait to go run tell that.
that part.
Yeah. It is so difficult to be vulnerable in this day and age.
Hmm.
I think especially like as we start getting older
Hmm.
and have certain life experiences, you
Hmm.
immediately start putting up walls. And this is counterintuitive when you're trying to heal because now you're doing all the things that are not lending to your healing. You know,
Yeah,
you're putting up walls and you're blocking things and you're not truly being vulnerable. You're not showing up as yourself
yeah.
because you're so afraid. You are so triggered by things that happened to you in the past that you're not even in the current. You're not in the right now.
No,
And
no.
so everybody that you come in contact with now, they suffer because they don't get the true you because you so worried that they're going to do to you what the last person did.
Yep, yep. And that's not necessarily true
Mm-hmm.
if we accept ourselves in our current state and even recognize that I might not be in a space to dwell with another person in this moment because I am so fragile.
Uh-uh.
Okay to recognize that and
Mm-hmm.
be like, you know what, I need a moment. I need a breather from whomever or whatever type of relationships or situations in order for me to recalibrate, get myself together, and be able to accept where you are. And then slowly add, people back or situations back
Mm-hmm.
once you feel stronger in that area. It's
Yeah.
nothing shameful about that. That's you acknowledging and embracing your vulnerabilities for yourself. It's not about nobody else. This is about you accepting you and where you currently are.
Take
Okay?
care of yourself.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. And I think it's a whole thing that most of us don't like to acknowledge our struggles. We struggle with that,
Mm-hmm.
like because again, it's viewed as weakness, and we don't want to seem weak because
Mm-hmm.
it's a dog eat dog world. So you got to be out here. You got to put on and show
Mm-hmm.
up a certain way that
Mm-hmm.
you're able to be accepted. But if you don't accept you, currently. And if you feel like you got to put on a mask every time you go out in the public, then what are we doing? That means that you don't accept where you currently are.
Ugh.
I don't want to do that no more. No, I can't put on no more masks. What you see is what you get, because I've accepted that I'm not all well put together at all times.
Hmm.
Period.
That is that it, all of it really speaks to being vulnerable,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a true fear when you have shown yourself to people and they don't accept who you are. They try to change who you are. They try to dim your light. And now you're so afraid to do it again, right?
Yeah.
But as a part of my healing, the one thing that I keep saying, I will continue to shout from the rooftops, I'm not dimming my light for another soul ever in my life. And I don't want anybody in my space that's dimming their light. I want you to shine, and I'm going to shine. And I think that there is enough darkness for us all to shine. I don't need to dim your light to be great,
Yeah.
and vice versa. That
Mm.
is not what relationships are about. We are supposed to be holding each other up and
Yeah.
helping each other and
Mm.
supporting one another. Girl, you better go ahead, girl. Go get, like, I want for my friends, my husband, when he comes to me, I want for them to be able to strip down bare and be completely vulnerable with me,
Yeah.
because I will know that I am getting a truly healed person in my space. And I
Mm.
need to be able to show up the exact same way. Being vulnerable, shoot.
Baby. Or even being like, I feel like I could do whatever, or be my true authentic self around you. Again, if you've done the work to accept yourself and not
Mhm.
seeking outside validation to make you feel accepted, you should already accept yourself. And if
Absolutely.
you've done that work to get towards that, then whomever you encounter, you ain't even gonna have those thoughts anymore about wanting them to tell you, oh this, oh that, or whatever. None of that
Mhm.
is gonna matter,
Mhm.
because you know who you are, and you're
Yeah.
truly being authentic to who you are. And I think I definitely think that that's a huge step in this acceptance. And all that other shit will roll off your back. Like, what? You don't accept me?
Exactly.
Fine. That's fine. I accept me. That's
Yeah.
what matters.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
And I mean, listen, being who we are and the platforms that we have, it's
Hmm.
important to know who you are, because you can quickly get caught up in the compliments and the flattery and all the things, right? And now you done forgot who you even are and what you were set out to do. You've been set apart for a reason.
Yeah.
There is a mission and a blessing on our lives so that we can bless others, right? And so if you get all caught up in all that superficial stuff, you're not going to even be able to do that. So you have to be vulnerable even in that. Even in that. And so if you really are struggling with accepting that you do need healing,
Hmm.
get your notepads out, cuz we about to get into this, cuz listen, what are we talking about?
Like, what are we talking about for real? For real. Anywho, acceptance is a fundamental aspect of healing. It doesn't mean resignation or giving up. Rather, it's about acknowledging our reality without judgment and creating a space for growth. Okay? Like, that's what you should be trying to cultivate. Again, it starts with you,
Mhm.
but anybody else that you are allowing in your orbit, the space should be cultivated for growth. There should be no stagnation. There should be no contentment. There should be no willy-nilliness of it. I don't know, like just some bull crap. Like it's not, it shouldn't be that. It should be a space
Intentional.
for growth. Huh?
Intentional.
Intentional. Be intentional about you and where you are. And like I said, I think a lot of times we get a shame and judgment attached to it about our realities. And the reality is you are depressed.
Mm.
Depression is a cycle. Depression is a state of mind. It's a mental disorder, essentially, but you don't have to stay there. Like I said, it's a cycle. It comes and it goes. So what can you do? Can you accept that right now I'm in a whole depressive episode? And I acknowledge that. I give into that, but also I'm going to accept where I am and I'm going to cultivate a space for me to grow from here. I'm not going to stay here. I'm not going to dwell here. I'm going to acknowledge and accept that's where I'm at. And if anybody in my circle or in my surroundings cannot accept me in this space where I have already accepted me, then you're not meant to be around me.
Oh, wow.
I'm not going to be your court gesture at all times because that's what you're used to seeing me as. You're used to me making you laugh and happy. I don't have a smile today to give. And I've accepted that and I need you to as well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So acknowledge your reality without the judgment. You don't need it. That doesn't mean you gave up. That's just
this is the
that's
space I'm in
reality.
today. Yeah.
Right. This is where I'm at in this moment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And also, because I say it, I have said it on every episode, and so it bears repeating. At this stage of my life where I am not dating and I am on my healing journey and just really focusing on me, I need people around me that say they love me and support me to respect the space I'm in, to allow me space for growth. And if you're still around at the end of this, we're going to be greater because of the work that I'm doing on myself. And hopefully you're taking some time to work on you too.
That part.
Because we all could use a little healing. It's those people that say they don't have nothing to heal from that I worry the most about. Those people are scary. And and also people that know that they have healing work to do that can't begin the work. If you say you know you got things to heal from, you know that there's things that are triggers for you, childhood, whatever the case may be, and you are not actively working on these things, finding a therapist or whatever you need to do to move to the next point, reading self-help books if that's your thing, whatever your thing is, if you're not actively working on it, but not just reading, but also implementing what you're learning, it has to be actionable. If you're not doing that, I just got to be point blank with it. I can't fuck with it. I cannot, because we are constantly damaged by people who claim they working on themselves and they ain't doing shit but trying to manipulate you.
That part. And guess what? That does mean resignation. That does mean you gave up. Because you know it's a problem. You know it's an issue. You know something is not right. And you refuse to do anything about it. That is giving up.
And sometimes it's not talking to these people, because the thing is just like you figured it out for you, they have to figure it out for them.
Exactly.
So you can't keep on talking people into something that's good for them.
That part.
You can't convince somebody to take their medicine. They have to just go in and take it.
And if they refuse,
If the doctor diagnoses you with cancer and he say you need these treatments, and you refuse the treatment, you know that the end is death. If you need healing and you don't heal, the end is death. It
Yep.
could be death to relationships, it could be death to your mind, but the end is death.
That's it. That's all.
And only you can make the decision what the healing gonna look like for you. But as for me and my house,
You will meet your expected end. Yeah, you got to accept where people are too.
you do. You do. And you know what? And not just accepting it, but respecting it. Right?
Respecting.
Because the thing is that just because you got it,
Yeah.
just because I got it, we
Mhm.
cannot now decide, oh, now we're going to look down our nose on the other people that ain't got it.
Yeah.
No, no, you have to create space for them to
Yeah.
figure this thing out on their own. That doesn't mean that you have to continue to have them in your space, because you yourself are raw and tender because you're healing. That's like
Mhm.
having a scab and then go run and skin your knee again. You just reopening the wound. So I don't need to invite you into my space. I can love you from afar
Yeah.
until you decide that you want to get this good healing that I'm working on. But
Mhm.
I can't let you derail what I'm working on
Yeah. Yeah. But if they
because
go on, I'm sorry.
no, I was just gonna say because you're not ready to do your work, as
Right.
Miss Yonla would say. You
That
got to
part.
do your work.
You got to do your work, and also accept when people have started their work. I
Mhm.
think a lot of us put people in boxes when we know where they are or where they have been,
Mhm.
and you may have left them over there, whatever, and gone about your business.
Mhm.
But then we still be like, oh, they still over there in that same spot. No, accept them for where they are still.
Mhm. Mhm.
They may have actually done some work, and once they started their work, you still cultivate that space for them to grow. They don't mean
Mhm.
they're on the same level as you. It's
Absolutely.
okay.
Mhm.
Some of us take a little longer in some areas than others, and that's okay too. And just because, and I tell people this all the time, because I had a friend tell me, like, oh, I feel like you're just so much further along in your healing journey than I am. So they essentially were feeling inferior, quote unquote. And I was like, bruh, I still be struggling.
Struggling, and also to your point, Portia, I don't know how deep your wound is.
Exactly.
Your wound might need a whole lot more healing than mine. Mine could be surface level.
Yeah.
Yours could be really, really deep, and you
Yeah.
need a lot of sutures. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And so just because it looks like I'm further along on my journey, I might not have had as much work as you had.
Yeah.
Um, or I might have been working for many more years than you just started. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not that type of judgment
It's not.
on this
It's
journey.
really,
If I see that you're doing the work,
I'm gonna
it's
create the space.
something I can see you trying,
Yeah.
then I will allow a little more space and latitude for you.
Yeah, for sure.
But if I feel like I've seen this behavior before
Hmm.
in you, and you are continuing to repeat this cycle and then apologize, and then you do it again and then you apologize, and you doing the same shit. Like if you do different shit, I might be able to rock with that. But if you're doing the same shit, yeah, now I'm accepting foolishness.
That
And
part.
that ain't what I'm trying to do. I ain't trying to accept foolishness.
Mm-mm. Not at all. Not at all. We ain't doing it.
We're not doing that. Many people resist the idea of acceptance, fearing that it implies surrender or complacency. How can we address this resistance and help individuals understand the liberating potential of acceptance? Do we help them, or do they have to get it on their own? What do you think about that?
Um, Hello, my name is Portia. I am captain of the Super Save a Whole Committee. And I am always going to
She is.
do my best to help someone again in the space that they are. And like I was stating with the friend saying I'm so much further along, and I'm like, hey, even though our wounds may look different, they may be in different places too. Um, and I might get stuck on this area, and you might have advanced past that in this area.
Mm-hmm.
A metric that shouldn't even exist because as long as you're on the journey, that's all that matters.
You can't measure it.
You can't measure it. You can't measure it. Um, the measuring tool is us being able to have these conversations and acknowledge and accept where we are. And that's good enough. So how can we address the resistance of individuals? I feel like um, we could just continue to encourage them and allow space for them to grow and to kind of like figure this out on their own. Essentially, how we do a baby, right? When they're trying to walk or whatever, and yeah, we be like, oh, we want to help them up, don't
But you
do
gotta let them fall down, right?
you gotta let them fall. You gotta let them figure it out, pull up on things, get them knees strong. You gotta let them do it.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you're gonna have somebody that you're gonna be dependent on you for the rest of your life. But we don't want that. Okay? So
Chad, I ain't even consider that, but yeah.
listen, we don't want that. So I think, but you also the biggest thing that can help a person is through your actions and what you show up as, right? So it don't even have to necessarily be a conversation all the time, but just how you are handling things. My best friend commends me all the time. Like, she had issues with her child's father all of his life. And she like, man, you just be handling this stuff. Like I would have been cussed this man out. I would have did this, that. And she'd be like, you be handling this with such grace. Like I admire that. Like I ain't got to talk, and she knows my deepest, darkest feelings and all the things. But she knows also how I'm showing up, what my actions are saying. And that is what matters. You don't have to all the time tell somebody. And even with wanting other people to accept us, right? Even with that situation, I wanted to call his people and be like, I'm doing this, that, this, and he ain't doing none of this. To prove to somebody else to accept me and see that I am a good mother, I am a good wife, I am a good whatever.
But what would that prove?
It's nothing to do with that. My actions speak louder than my words ever could. Period. My children are healthy. They are stable. They are emotionally well. I mean, yes, there are some down moments, but overall, it's proof in the pudding.
Yeah.
So accept where you are. And I think that's the biggest part is to show people by your lifestyle and by how you go about it. I mean, again, you can take the horse to the water, but you can't make them drink it. But
And
I'm showing you how to be liberated.
And you get more bees with honey, right? So you could be cussing him out and telling him what he ain't doing, and you could do all of that. First of all, as we learned in the last episode, that stress gonna kill you.
That part.
He gonna go on about his life, right?
Mm-hmm.
He knows what he's supposed to do. You've already told him what you require of him and what is needed.
Yes.
And so yelling and screaming and fussing and cussing and crying is going to do what? What is it going to do? Sometimes, because you said you don't always have, it don't always have to be a conversation. Sometimes silence is golden. Silence sometimes speaks volumes. If you feel like something doesn't serve you anymore, that doesn't necessarily mean that it requires a sit down conversation. Sometimes silence is the answer. We always want closure. We want the answer. We want to know why. Why ask why? Sometimes the proof is in the pudding. If they move in a certain way and you ain't included in that movement, that's your answer, right?
You gotta accept the reality.
You have to accept the reality of the thing. And if you accept it, then you can heal from it.
Yep. Yep.
They don't have to call you up and say, well, the reason why I didn't show up is X and so. They don't need to call you up and say, the reason why I don't like you is because X and so. Listen, I don't need to know the reason. I see how the fuck you moving. I know you don't like me. We ain't got to talk about that shit. I accept it.
I ain't coming back. I enjoyed y'all. I accept
Your
not
absence.
being here. Okay.
I accept your absence. You ain't got to make no goddamn announcements. Get the fuck on. Listen, I don't mean to be that harsh, but that's just where I am at this stage in my life. I'm no longer playing about me,
That part.
and I ain't fucking with nobody that is playing about me.
Oh, there's one that tried to play about me. There is no room for the foolishness whatsoever. Okay?
I love the Lord and I cuss a lot. Listen, y'all got the point. Okay? That's all I got for you. You
That's
got the
how
point.
people address it. That's it.
Accept what it is. It don't always take an argument, a discussion. Like, you already done said what it is. And you've already shown me what it is by how you moving.
Yeah.
So another thing is, especially in female to male relationships, I told y'all before, the first time your voice goes up and you start doing this, he ain't heard nothing you said anyway. He done shut down. So you doing all this hooping and hollering. The man ain't listening to you any damn way. Ain't gonna do what the fuck you want anyway, because that's what he been doing.
That part.
So while you getting yourself all stressed out, worked up, you still gonna have to do the same thing. You still gonna have to continue to show up because mommies do not get a pass. God bless it.
At all. And I have to accept that. I have to accept that that's my role in this world, period. Because women in general, we don't get a pass like men get the pass as far as stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And so that was even difficult for me to accept as a woman. And I'm like, well, ain't nobody saying nothing about how this person's showing up. And I have come to accept that this is my positioning. And no matter what, they're gonna still put their mouth. It's the same ideologies when you go to somebody's house and visit, and if they're married or whatever, and if the house nasty, ooh, their wife is nasty.
Baby, I wasn't even married. I was in a long-term relationship, and he used to be like, he loved to grill. He's gonna know I'm talking about his ass because whatever. He loved to grill, and he liked to entertain his mom. And he would randomly be like, my mama coming over. And I'd be like, now I got to clean up his house. His house, not my house. We ain't live together.
Yeah.
But if she came in his house, not my house, and it was a mess, she would be like, what type of nasty woman are you that you would lay up in this filth? And not that because he was not a dirty person. He was a very clean guy.
It's just everyday, regular, lived in
exactly stuff. He got dishes in the sink, you know, whatever. Now I'm running around making sure the dishes in the bathroom is freshened up. All this, I don't even live there because I know it's going to reflect on me because I'm there. Child.
Yep. Yeah.
And all that stress will kill you.
Exactly. Except that this is just where we are placed as whatever. And it's okay. It's no point of dragging yourself down and feeling all discombobulated for something that is completely out of your control. Accept what it is. We'll be better off.
It is what it is.
You
will be better off. Especially on this journey, you know, when you are really looking at yourself in the mirror and accepting what you see and who you see in front of you, then when you can proudly be like, this is me.
Yes.
This is me. Take it or leave it. I accept me. Then you will make other people, you will demand that same acceptance from others. And if they
Yes.
don't, keep it moving. Period.
By accepting our present circumstances, we free ourselves to focus on what we can control. And that's the whole other part of acceptance. Accepting what you can't, what is out of your control.
Mm-hmm.
I think that has been a struggle for me as well, because again, I am a control person.
Mm-hmm.
But God has definitely been teaching me I am not in control. Okay. Uh, and so I am accepting that these present circumstances are what they are. And therefore, I am free to just be. And once I get this under control, because this is actually something I do have control of,
Uh-huh.
accepting what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely can I can envision the free feel that I will have,
Mm-hmm.
the burden that will be completely lifted. And I
Yeah.
feel it in moments of me accepting stuff. And I was like, look, here I am. But
Here I am.
right, I have to constantly in the back of it, even in those moments when them negative thoughts is back there trying to, but girl, you know, you should be ashamed of yourself, and you should have did this, and you should have did that, and
Right,
you
right.
shouldn't have done this. I have to be like, hey, 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 we're not going down that
Back
road.
up off me.
We're not doing that overthinking. Calm it down.
Mm-hmm.
I've accepted that this is where I'm at. This is all I'm able to do today, and that's that.
Yeah.
You know, you shut up back there.
But that also goes back to that perfectionism thing, right?
Yeah,
You do not have to, everything on that to-do list don't have to be done today.
yeah,
Except that I was only able to get through 3 of the 6 items.
yep,
And half is better than nothing. Like every little thing that you can accept is a victory.
yes,
It's a victory. Listen. Sometimes in my life, I have heard negative things about my personality. She too loud. She
mhm,
too wild. She
mhm,
too friendly. She flirt too much. All of those things,
mhm,
but
mhm.
they are very much a part of the layers of me.
Right.
Um, the person that's for me is going to accept all of me.
Yes.
They're not going to try to change me. They're not going to try to dim my light so that they're not uncomfortable.
Yeah.
The person that is for me, even in friendship, if we're truly supposed to be friends, you're not going to be saying, I like Tam, but she's too loud. It's not gonna be that. It's
Yeah.
gonna be like, I love her. All
Yeah.
of her. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Yes, she loud. Yes, she
Completely.
be wild.
As
Yes, she
is.
be going to these damn football games and cussing out grown men. Like, yeah, she's gonna do all of those things. And we're gonna have a bomb ass time while
Mhm.
she doing that shit. Like,
Yep.
but it's like we are always searching for acceptance. We haven't even accepted ourselves.
Nope.
We are letting other people's negative opinions of us
Mhm.
hold us in a space that
Mhm.
is not even true of us. You
Yeah.
are now sitting in a space that somebody else put you in, and that ain't even who you are.
It's not even who you are. It's not. It's not. And it's not who you want to be. Except that even if people have put you in a space of who they want you to be, you have to accept that that's not who you want to be.
Mm,
And that's okay.
and that's okay.
Stand up for you. Show up for you.
And take control of what you can control.
Yep.
And accept that you can't control everything.
Not at
You
all.
cannot control everything. Shit is going to happen.
Always.
Shit is going to happen. If you are trying to control every little thing, you're going to be miserable. And that's also something you need to heal from.
Yep. Yep.
The
And
Lord just
another thing.
the Lord just shaking his head. He like, don't you know that I have control of all of this?
God is in control.
And
Period.
you trying to control it. Who you think you are?
Hmm. Listen.
Who do you think you are? Anyway, being mindful encourages us to stay present in the moment without judgment. This
Mhm.
heightened awareness can lead to a deeper understanding of our emotions and thoughts, fostering self compassion and ultimately acceptance.
Mhm.
Listen, love yourself exactly as you are because you are amazing.
You
You
are.
are amazing just as you are. I feel like if people just got that point, they'd be healed from a whole lot of trauma that they have
Yeah.
sustained. You know, a whole lot of people beating you down and making you feel like you're unworthy. You are amazing just the way you are.
Even with the broken parts of you, you are still amazing.
Hmm.
Even with the healing that needs to take place, you are still amazing.
Hmm.
Even with the mental disorders or whatever, you are still amazing. But you have to see it as it is. Um, it's we work so I feel like we work harder most times trying to get other people to
To
see us.
accept you.
Yeah, than we do ourselves. I want my mama to accept me because she ain't never loved me like that. And
I
Look
want to
at
be in the in
you.
crowd. You know, fuck the
Yeah.
in crowd. You be your own in
You
crowd.
be your own in crowd. Energies attract,
Hmm.
period. So
Hmm.
whatever energy you giving off, whatever you putting out there is going to come back to you. But you have to accept where you are.
Whew. I feel like people, again, because we always say that we are our own worst enemies, but
Mhm.
I feel like sometimes people see you as magnificent and you don't see yourself that way. And so, because you don't see yourself that way, you are now saying, y'all don't see me like this. But we did see you like that. And now we don't because you are exposing all of these wounds that we didn't even know you had. We weren't even judging, but now we are. It's because you have opened the door to all of it because you're unhealed and you haven't accepted that
Yeah.
you still have work to do.
You're struggling to accept yourself.
And the work that is going to take to see yourself as others see you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
It's
that is a very sad,
it is.
sad thing.
It is.
To
It is.
me, I feel like I'm sad for people that move that way. That's always seeking outside validation,
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
not knowing who they are. And I'm saying that as I sit here today because there was a time that I was questioning. I've always had like great outward confidence.
Mhm.
But as I always tell y'all, like I'm super shy. And
Mhm.
people always are like, I don't see that.
Mhm.
But all on the inside, just because how I show up, it's like, a lot of that in your face is because I'm shy. Because
Mhm.
all on the inside, I am dying. I'm like, oh my God, are they gonna like me? Are they gonna stick around? Are they gonna want to hear what I have to say? I could tell you today that I know people want to hear what I have to say. I have a lot to say. Um And I think what I have to say is no, I know what I have to say is valuable. There was
Mhm.
a time that I didn't believe that, and because of that, I led with the raw. Now the raw is just a part of who I am. But it saddens me when I see my peers
Mhm.
out here with a whole lot of intelligent shit to say. that people are tuned into you and listening, but yet you are sabotaging yourself by saying nobody is accepting me when we've all accepted you. And the very problem is that you don't accept you.
Yeah, yeah. You got to get to that point of a deeper understanding of you, your
Hmm.
feelings, your emotions,
Hmm.
your thoughts, your interactions. You have to get there. Nobody else can make you get there. No matter, we can sit here until we blue in the face trying to get you to see.
Hmm.
You have to do the work for yourself. Accept you. Period.
It takes work. I know that we're just talking. And so I don't want to discount the work that it takes to get here.
Mhm.
I don't want to make it seem like, "Oh, you should just wake up tomorrow and accept." I know that it takes work.
A lot of
It
work.
wasn't easy for me either. It hasn't been easy for Portia either. But we do know that the work has to be done to get there. You cannot keep putting it on other people. It's our job to do something for you to make you feel this way about yourself.
Yeah.
You have to do the work because how you show up, people going to respect you because of the way you walk in the room. If you
Yeah.
walk in the room cowering and expecting people to discount you, dismiss you, and disrespect you, that's what will happen.
Yep.
But if you walk in that room with your head held high, acting like you know what you're talking about, even when the fuck you don't, people gonna be like, "Oh, yes, they know what they talking about." You don't know what the hell you talking about. You faking it till you make it. The point is, you have to accept yourself, and others will fall in line every time.
Every time. Every time. So, dang, that was really good. That was really good. I
It
hope
was.
that that helps some of you all that have been struggling with accepting you, accepting your life, accepting your circumstances, accepting the cards that you have been dealt. They're yours.
Oh,
It's up to you and what you do with them, how you play them.
hmm,
Period.
period.
So, Tam, moving on. Who all gonna be there? Okay,
I'm gonna
this
be
is
there.
where this is where we'll share some personal stories from our own experiences of the transformative effects of acceptance in our healing journey. We've already kind of been doing that throughout this,
Yes.
but I can just, like I said, it's the I could just say real quick. Y'all know my story and whatever. And it's that work of acceptance, the work of the healing, period. It's a work. It's
Hmm.
a whole nother job that you have to be dedicated to, just like you are dedicated to that one that you pay taxes to the government and get funds from. You
Okay.
gotta be dedicated to this one as just as much.
Just as much.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for me, I still struggle at times.
Hmm.
I can't sit here in front of y'all and be like, I'm completely healed from this. I'm not. It is still a struggle at times because it's a lot of deep rooted hurt, a lot of
Hmm.
deep rooted trauma that
Hmm.
has came about or whatever throughout my life. But I am doing the necessary things that are required of me to
Hmm.
get to that place of fully accepting Portia as I explore and figure out who Portia is. You
Yeah.
know, and I can say who I am. I know at the core of who I am. Now it's like building on top of that, right? And so little things I may have thought, oh, I accept who I am, period. But
Hmm.
also it's like something comes about and I'll be like, oh, wait a minute, and I go back to my default setting of shame, guilt, judgment, you know, of myself or thinking about what other people gonna think. And then I have to constantly combat that. Constantly combat that with the positive thoughts, with the acceptance, with the acknowledgement of the reality and all of that. And be okay with that. Make myself okay. Don't get anxious about it. Don't overthink it. This is where you are. Utilize these new skills and you'll be fine. And it does work. I'm proof. It works.
Absolutely.
But we gotta be willing to accept again where we are. That's it.
So for me, I'm gonna go all the way back, some almost 20 years ago,
Mm.
when I was in my marriage, and I remember in one very big argument my husband and I were having, he said, "You need therapy,"
Mhm.
and I felt attacked. I was like, "You saying I'm crazy?" And the man ain't say I was crazy. He said I needed therapy. And he was right. But at the time, I couldn't accept it
Mm.
because in our community, it has been so taboo
Yeah.
talking about therapy, right? But I do have childhood trauma. You know, I've shared with you all that I don't know my father. I never knew my father. I was raised with my stepfather, essentially.
Mhm.
The man's name was on my birth certificate. He raised me as his own, but I was not his biological child. I didn't find that out until I was a teenager. But I feel like I got daddy issues because of that. Like, why how this man going through life? He know I exist.
Yep.
And he just going on with his merry way. He ain't
Mhm.
come looking for me.
Mhm.
Child, I don't even know if the man's still alive. He had an opportunity to meet me. He didn't. He didn't show up.
Yeah.
He stood me up. I When he said I needed therapy, I took it as an attack. I was not yet in a place where I could accept that I do have trauma. You know, I used to always say, I'm fine. Like my mother, we had mommy, and even though the father that raised me had issues, he was my father.
Yeah.
He showed up. He did what another man was not willing to do. He knew I wasn't his.
Yeah.
They said he took one look at me and my red ass, and he was like, "That is not my." But give me that damn birth certificate. I'm gonna sign my name on it.
Anyhow. Anyhow. Yep.
Anyhow, so um, no matter what issues that he had in life,
Mhm.
he was a stand up guy. You know, he loved my mom. He knew what he did to cause me, to cause my mama to step out and have me. He knew what he had done, right? And
Yeah.
so I just had not come to a place of acceptance. And it is not until now that I have accepted that I needed to heal in a lot of areas in my life, that I am more open and willing to talk about it, because I realize that if I don't put it out there, if I don't put it on the table, if I don't share, first
Mhm.
of all, if I'm not sharing, then I'm not helping.
Mhm.
And the whole reason why I wanted to do this was not just because I wanted to see myself on camera. It was because I wanted to be able to help someone else. And so, and thereby helping myself. So it's a twofer, right?
Yeah.
And so I had to accept, though, that I needed help, that I needed to heal. And so that's why I don't play about me anymore. I'm very, very serious about this journey that I'm on. I never, ever liked self help books. Girl, I got 50 self help books in the damn bed with me. I'm reading. They in the bed, okay? Because they my partner right now.
Mm-hmm.
One day, that other side of the bed is going to be empty and available for my husband. But right now, the books is the partner. I'm trying to get my life together.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to get my life together because I didn't already done a doozy on these kids, right? Because I wasn't healed.
Yeah.
And so I have to accept that
Yep.
and try to fix it. That I'm trying to heal those things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to heal myself. I'm trying to heal the relationships with my mom, my sisters, because they feel like I wasn't always present as a big sister. I got a lot of shit. Okay, I'm trying to heal it. And so that is the reason why nobody can come in my life and play with me.
That part.
You cannot. I know the work that I'm doing. I know the work that is still yet to come. And I am not going to allow you in my space if you too are not working on you. If you think you perfect and you don't need no work, we can't be friends. I don't want to have nothing to do with you. And anyway, I love you, girl. The Lord know what I needed when I needed it,
Yes.
and he really gave me a sisterhood that at the time I swear I didn't even know I was going to need it. I
Yeah.
was in a space of a lot of loss, and some of the loss I hadn't accepted. I was
Mm-hmm.
kind of thinking it would still repair itself and it will be, everything's going to be fine. I was like in denial
Yep.
for sure.
Yep.
Um, and then one day I had to like face it, like this shit is really broke. It's not gonna be repaired.
It's not.
It's not gonna be repaired. And I also had to start thinking about all the things that people had said to me over the years that I pushed down, ignored, put in the back of my mind, all of those things because I wanted something so desperately to be something that it wasn't.
Yeah.
Accepting that, like the 2023 broke me. If I'm being honest,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna cry. It was a
It's
hard,
okay
hard
if you
year.
do. Yeah.
I had to accept a lot of shit that I had been in denial about for for almost 40 years.
Yeah.
That's a long time to
Alone.
love somebody that didn't love you back.
Yeesh.
Girl. Anyway, so
Yes.
there it is. That's my shit. I'm working on a lot of shit and I don't have no time for anybody that's coming to disturb that. If you ain't coming to boost me up and to accept me as I am, to the left, to
Cheers to that.
the
Yeah.
left. Invitation only. This is the segment where we can stop crying and we can we can read questions and answer questions from you, our viewers.
Yes.
And letters, anything that you might have on your heart. Okay. This viewer would like to know if you could go back in life and change one decision you made, what would it be and why?
This is hard.
Be careful,
I know, right?
because it could undo everything.
This is undo so much. If I could go back and change one decision that I made, it would be the decision to impulsively pack my ish and leave after I was told how a person really felt. I think if I would have sat there a little longer, it wouldn't have been as devastating, potentially. I would have had a little more time to process. and really accept the reality of this is over. But because I instantly went to my default of getting angry, getting mad, and I'm going to show you better than I could tell you, I made the impulsive decision that uprooted my kids' norm. Um, and even though it probably was the inevitable, irregardless, I think if I would have just did a little more planning than just making an impulsive decision, it would have been a little easier of a transition for not just them, but for me as well. Because I put a lot of stress and anxiety and strife on myself that I necessarily have to happen. That was my damn house. I could have stayed there. But
Do you think that also it because of the impulsive decision to just pack your shit and leave, do you think that it took even longer to accept
yes.
that it was over?
Yep.
Because did you think that he was going to chase you, come after you?
Yes, I did. And I thought that was only temporary. I'm making a point. I'm only going to my mama's house for a day. I end up being there for 7 months. You know what I'm saying? Like, or I could have just stayed at my house at least to the end of my lease. Like, I could have properly planned. Okay, April, I'm like the kids get in school at that time. We're done. Like, I could have properly, but instead, I ended up really making it harder on myself because I was impulsive. And I probably could have got to the stage of acceptance much quicker had I actually just sat in it and took my time. So you live and you learn.
For me, I could think of a whole lot of things that I should have, or could have, or would like, or would have changed if I could. But one of the biggest things, and I tell this a lot, that if I could change, I would, and that was my decision not to go to college. I talk about that a lot because I worked really hard through grade school, middle school, and high school to be the best of the best, the elite. I took all college courses. I was headed to college.
Yeah.
And I got pregnant in high school in my my junior year of high school, and going into my senior year, I decided to stop all of my college preparatory classes and take COE, which was cooperative office experience. So I went to school half a day and worked half a day so that I could provide for my child. That was a really big decision. That my counselors was like, "What the hell are you doing?" And I had to be like, "I'm pregnant. I gotta work." And even with that, I still could have gone on to college. And I got accepted into the only one college that I applied to. I only applied to we had a career counselor. I don't know if you guys had that, but we had a career counselor that she was like, I researched this college accepts unwed mothers. They provide you with housing. They provide you with daycare. Like, they provide you with all the things so that you can get your education. That's the only college I applied to because I had this baby. And I got accepted into the college, and I didn't get accepted into the program to live on campus with my baby. They only had 20 slots per year. And so I got into the school, but not into that program.
Yeah.
And I opted not to go because I was like, I got this baby. I'm not going to leave my baby at home and go off to school. And my mother kept saying, "Leave the baby with me. We got the baby. Go to school." And I was like, no, no, no. I regret that decision. I think in my mind, I was like, I didn't want to put that burden on my mom. Also, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go away to school and I come back, he gonna be calling me Tammy. Like, this is my kid. But if I was thinking as an adult and not as a child, because I was a child,
Yeah.
it was a few months. It was a semester. It was maybe 2 semesters. I would have still been going back and forth. It wasn't that far from home. So, I mean, a couple hours drive, I could have came home. It just was an impulsive decision and it didn't make much sense. And I could have provided a much better life for me and my children
Yeah.
had I gone on. Not that, life was a complete struggle, but it still could have been a much better life. My dream was to become an attorney. Instead, I work for them. And I'm smarter than most of them.
Yeah.
But I had a baby young and I made this impulsive decision. That's the one thing I would change.
Yeah.
But like all kids, I didn't listen to my mama. My mom was like, go to school, go to school. I be telling these kids stuff all the time. They don't listen to that. And I say, that's shit. They don't listen.
This is life. Well, before we get out of here, let's shine some light on it. This is the show Takeaways, and today's takeaway is to accept your current circumstances and free yourself. Okay? One more time for the people in the back. Accept your current circumstances and free yourself. All right?
Whew, free yourself, okay? Well, that's a wrap. Thank you for tapping in with us today. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share. Let us know what things you'd like to hear from us in the future, and if there are any topics you'd like to discuss, etc. You can email us at tnp@theafterpartypod.com to ask all your burning questions and show topics. Be on the lookout for our subscriber only events, and we'll be back with another episode in 2 weeks where we'll be discussing broken promises. We love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye-bye.